There are certain weapons that blur the lines between primary and secondary. The Arca Scisco is one such weapon. Hey guys, hello and welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today we're going to be diving deeper into this Mastery Rank 10 secondary weapon, the Arca Scisco. I'm going to be covering a cheap build, something affordable that anybody can build, but of course we're also going to have the classic endgame setup with a Riven. That being said though, please keep in mind that my builds and guides usually follow a more new player friendly approach, simply because there's a lot of info here and I want anybody watching to understand how the weapon functions and how it should be built. So if you're a veteran of the game and already know most of this stuff, then please bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Arca Scisco. Let's begin by checking out how the weapon handles without any mods equipped, and for that I'm gonna need a couple of targets. You'll notice that the Arca Scisco is no ordinary secondary weapon. It's a sniper gun of sorts, and you will have the same scope as the Snipetron Vandal. You have 2 zoom levels, 2x and 4x. Also above my crosshairs you will notice there are 5 little dots. Those will indicate a very specific buff called target analysis. For each of those little buffs we will be getting a benefit, so you need to hit a target and you get 1 stack, hit them twice, 3, 4 and 5 times. The maximum number of stacks is 5 and they last for 2 seconds. When 2 seconds expire you will lose 1 of the stacks, so you're not losing all of the stacks at once. Once again we are getting 4% crit chance and 4% status chance per stack, so fully stacked out we're gonna get 20% crit chance and 20% status chance. This is a bonus additive after effect, so it will not increase the base stat by a percentage, it simply adds at the end of everything for the most part. This looks like a projectile weapon and it's a semi-weapon, so you gotta go shot by shot, or you can use a macro to rapid fire the weapon. Now keep in mind that even though it looks like a projectile weapon, for the most part you shoot and it hits. I mean, if you were to aim into the nothingness you will see the projectile traveling, kinda like a laser beam of sort. But once again, when you're actually shooting a target, you will see that the impact is almost immediate. I haven't gotten a Riven with the minus projectile flight speed to see how that one afflicts it though, so keep that one in mind. Next, let's jump into stats to see precisely what we're dealing with. Mod capacity is 60 out of 60, and if your Arca Scisco only has 30 out of 30, then jump into actions and install an Arcane catalyst. The Arcane catalyst can be found from alerts, invasions, or if you're lucky, from the daily sortie. As an alternative measure, you can pay 20 plat to have one plugged in. Next, my weapon has been formatted a total of 5 times, but this was done for the purpose of testing. For the weapon builds I'm recommending you guys, 2 free forma should do it. That is because the Arca Scisco by default comes with 2 V symbols or Madurai symbols, so it's not a forma heavy weapon. The accuracy is 32, which is amazing considering the fabled Lex Prime that is known for its accuracy only has 16. Crit chance and crit multi 18% and 1.6x. Now these are fairly low, just keep in mind that you will be getting 20% crit chance from the target analysis buff. Now this is a bonus additive after, so you're gonna be getting 38% crit chance out of the Arca Scisco fully stacked with target analysis without any additional mods. The magazine is 36 with a fire rate of 4.67 and a reload of 2.2. Now I don't take issue with any of these except the reload is a tad long. Riven disposition 3 out of 5, which means that the Rivens for this one will be quite decent, and a status chance of 26% without the bonus of target analysis. We're gonna get 20% from that, so it's gonna go up to 46%. Next we're gonna talk about the default damage on the weapon. The biggest advantage the Arca Scisco has lies in what you don't see here, impact. There is no impact on this weapon. Now don't get me wrong, impact can be useful if you stand for an hour or two in a defense. You will be glad you have that added crowd control. The problem with impact is that it competes with status procs with the slash. That is the main issue with it. We got a good amount of puncture and a decent amount of slash. This is 40-60 split for the most part, so we will be able to get more slash out of the weapon and make it into a slasher a bit later on. But first, an elemental build. Let's start slapping on some mods, starting with the mandatory mods, and Hornet Strike is 100% mandatory, 220% extra damage. Next we're gonna go into multi-shot, Battle Diffusion, as well as Lethal Torrent. Now with these two slapped on, we're gonna get 180% multi-shot. Keep in mind that multi-shot will count towards your target analysis buff, meaning if you hit the target with 2 beams, which will look like a single beam, you will be getting 2 stacks of target analysis with a single shot. So basically with 180% multi-shot, you have an 80% chance per shot at a third strike on the target. That will mean 3 stacks at once. Next, we're gonna go into crit chance and crit damage, and I know what you're gonna say, isn't it a status weapon? Well, yes and no. Going further into status with the Arca Scisco will actually be folly, because as you will see, we're gonna get huge status chance out of this one, especially if we keep in mind what is the buff from target analysis. So we're gonna go with Pistol Gambit and Target Cracker. If you guys have prime versions like Prime Pistol Gambit, Prime Target Cracker, then by all means go for your prime versions. If there's ever a choice between going for Prime Pistol Gambit or Prime Target Cracker, pick Prime Target Cracker over Prime Pistol Gambit, as the default version is a tad underpowered. Next, we're gonna slap on some elemental damage, and elemental damage should be always applied depending on the encounter. Where are you going and who are you shooting? For example, if you're going up against the Infested, there's a lot of them, they're fairly weak, and I would recommend AoE weapons heavily modded into heat. If you're gonna fight the Corpus, these guys have big shields, so building magnetic is not a terrible idea, but a smarter idea may be to build gas or toxin, which will bypass their shields entirely and deal damage to their health. The Grineer are currently recognized as being the toughest targets in Warframe, and on Grineer you will find two armor types. You will find Alloy and Ferrite. Ferrite is weak to corrosive damage and Alloy is weak to radiation damage. Now, against Grineer, more often than not, your safest bet is to build corrosive, which is the elemental combo between electricity and toxin. So let's go into elemental damage, shall we? Should I go for the 90 mods or for the 60-60 mods? The same old question. And in the case of an elemental build, a corrosive build for the Arca Scisco, the answer might surprise you. It's a smarter idea to go for the 90 mods, and I'll explain exactly why that is. But first, I got my electricity, and then we're gonna go into toxin with pathogen rounds, 90% toxin. My weapon now has 967 corrosive. Keep in mind that the shot status chance right now is 57%. That is because of all the multi-shot I slapped on the weapon. If I factor in target analysis, that's gonna be another 20%, so my shot status chance is gonna go to 77%. This is not a pellet-based weapon. You don't need to go out of your way to reach that 100% status chance, and by all intents and purposes, it would be a DPS loss. And there's one additional reason as well. Keep in mind how status procs work in Warframe. The physical types, the impact, puncture, and slash, have a 4 times greater chance of proccing over elemental types. Now, it's a good thing we don't have impact, but when you're looking at your puncture and your slash and trying to figure out exactly which will proc first, look at them times 4. So in fact, my puncture is not 322, it's something around 1300. As for the slash, it's around 900. So the proc priority as it is now with the 90 mods is gonna be puncture, corrosive, and then slash. So keep that one in mind. The last mod slot on the weapon is what I like to call an option slot. Please cater each and every single weapon to your own individual playstyle. A very smart idea would be to add some punch through with Seeker. 2.1 meters worth of punch through, which will mean that the beam will travel through the initial target and keep going for 2.1 meters. You're gonna make a lot of use out of punch through in Warframe, so definitely go for this one. Now, another idea would be to go for more crit chance with hydraulic crosshairs. This one is 145% crit chance while aiming for 9 seconds, which is higher than Pistol Gambit. Just keep in mind that hydraulic crosshairs is not as reliable. It's a non-headshot and only while aiming, so keep that one in mind. I don't really recommend going into hydraulic crosshairs simply because this will increase the base crit chance of 18%. This one will give me roughly 23% crit chance, and Pistol Gambit gives me 21.6. Now, what I'm gonna do in this case at least is increase my elemental combo. As it stands now, my corrosive still can't really compete with puncture for proc, so I can add more toxin or more electricity to the weapon, and my only option is to go for the 60-60 mods for the sake of using the cheaper option, Pistol Pestilence, 60% toxin and 60% status chance. My status chance now jumped up to 77.8%, and with the 20% from target analysis, that's gonna be 97.8% shot status chance. My corrosive is on 1290, and now it will compete with puncture for status procs. Now, I want to show you guys a bit of a trick. If you are bothered by the scope, you can turn this one off. This is what I do during Eidolon hunts. Not that you're supposed to bring the Arca Scisco, but here's a useful tip. Go into interface and turn off sniper scopes, and this will turn off the scope on the Arca Scisco. It doesn't do it for the Nell, but apparently for the Arca Scisco it turns it off completely, and now your screen is nice and clear, and you can still keep track of your target analysis buff on the upper right hand side of the screen. So let's simulate some level 120 corrupted heavy gunner. These are some real tough targets and we're gonna go for flat headshots. I'm gonna do shot by shot so you can see that from one shot I got 3 stacks of target analysis. So it's gonna be pretty easy to keep the buff up, which makes this weapon so goddamn awesome. And as you can see, I'm able to tear through these guys in a matter of seconds. You can go shot by shot or you can go rapid fire. As for the flowers they're not part of the Arca Scisco, that's just a little bit of an augment I'm using on my Rhino. Now that is pretty impressive for an MR10 weapon. The recoil on the Arca Scisco, as you can see, is totally manageable. I'm not having any issue, I'm not fighting my mouse, and of course you can go shot by shot for pinpoint precision, or if you have a more beefier target in front of you, you can just open up and go for rapid fire. And as you can see, the target analysis buff is really no issue. I'm going shot by shot, nice and easy. It's staying at 5 stacks, so I'm getting the full benefit, the extra critical chance as well as the extra status chance. And as you can see from the targets, they are getting loads of status saps onto them. Wow, that was pretty good. I gotta be honest, I never liked this concept of a weapon, but after using it for a couple of days, I fell in love with it. That is a way you can build the Arca Scisco. Next we're gonna go into a bit of a bleed build because once again 40% of the default damage on the weapon is slash. And I'm gonna keep my mandatory mods, of course, with Hornet Strike, Barrel Diffusion, Lethal Torrent, Crit Chance and Crit Damage, with Pistol Gambit and Target Cracker. Next, if I want to make this weapon into a true slasher, well then I'm gonna need more slash. So I'm gonna be adding maim with 120% extra slash, which will bring it over my puncture. If you guys can get your hands on a Riven with some extra slash, that would be absolutely bloody glorious. So keep that one in mind. Now when you're building a weapon for slash, it's a smart idea to build viral damage. On a status proc, it will reduce the maximum health of a target by 50% for the duration of the viral app. So in a way, your slashes will kinda be dealing double damage. Should I go for the 90 mods or for the 60-60 mods? And here's another answer you probably won't like. We're gonna go for a bit of a combo. We're gonna go for one 60-60 mod. Again, it is very important in the case of a bleed build to go even higher into status chance because my bleeds will be coming from the weapon's innate slash value. So I'm gonna go for a bit of a combo. I run all sorts of tests so you guys don't have to, so this would be the ideal combo. I got my Toxin, let's go into cold with deep freeze. So once again, 190, 160. My viral, I'm not interested in it proccing over anything else. Okay, I am interested in it proccing over puncture, but I'm not interested in it proccing over slash. So I'm gonna go like this with the same 97.8% shot status chance with all the buffs up. And this is gonna be the second build I'm gonna be recommending to you guys, and it's actually quite good. I didn't expect it to be this good, but it is. Same exact targets as before, and we're gonna go for flat headshots. I'm gonna be hitting a target till about 50% HP, then let the viral app in combination with all the slashes I'm getting on the target do the magic. And as you can see, I'm getting plenty of slashes out of the Arca Scisco. The viral app is not an issue, and the value of the slashes will be determined if it's a crit or not. If it's a crit, then I'm gonna get 688. If it's not a crit, 144. Now this is definitely respectable, and you can build the Arca Scisco for slash, especially if you guys get a Riven for it. Now I did try to get a slash Riven for it. I did try it out with one. It wasn't really all that great. Then I managed to get something even better, although it was a tad pricey. So once again, the Arca Scisco can work as a slash weapon. If this is your desired playstyle, then by all means go for it. I recommend, however, the initial elemental build. Speaking of Rivens, let's switch to my Riven setup, and this one has critical chance multi-shot and minus reload speed, and it was quite pricey. Ow, my wallet. Critical chance 200%, bringing my crit chance to 87.1%, but with a fully stacked out prime pistol gambit, and of course I'm also using prime target cracker as well. And I also got 141% multi-shot. Now I get 320% and something multi-shot with lethal torrent, barrel diffusion plus the Riven. That means that per shot I'm gonna get 3 stacks of target analysis plus a 20% chance at a 4th strike, so therefore a 20% chance of getting 4 stacks per shot. Now that is absolutely amazing. This is a corrosive setup with the 90 mods, and my shot status chance is 71.9 without target analysis, so 91.9 with target analysis. Respawning the exact same targets, and once again going for flat damage, from my point of view, is the better alternative. As you can see, I'm gonna be able to tear through these guys like there's no tomorrow. Now with the added crit chance of target analysis, I'm going to 107%, something like that, crit chance, so I am going to be getting some orange crits out of the Arca Scisco. And as you can see, this weapon just turned beast. from my point of view, the Arca Scisco is a bit of an overlooked weapon. This is a fantastic secondary weapon. It would definitely make my top 10 of 2018. And don't worry, that video will be coming but a bit later on. When exactly, not completely sure. There's one more thing I want to do before going, and that is maxing out absolutely everything with Warframe buffs. And for that, I'm gonna need my favorite weapon specialist, Lady Mirage Prime. Let's have a quick look at what kind of buffs she's got. First of all, Pistol Lamp will increase the damage of the Arca Scisco by 27%. This is an aura, so everybody in your party will be receiving the benefit, and it is stackable times 4. Though keep in mind that if you know you're gonna fight Grenier, then Corrosive Projection will give you better results. However, Pistol Lamp will grant its benefit regardless of the target. Now, if you wanna amp up the value of Pistol Lamp, there is a way through a very specific mod. It's called Coaction Drift. It's not expensive, it's something like 10 plat. 15% aura strength and 50% aura effectiveness. This will work. Check out the wiki to see exactly how much more you're getting out of a normal amp. Next, let's talk about Arcanes, because these are a lot more impactful. Arcane Precision is the best option you can go for. 80% chance for plus 120% damage to pistols for 8 seconds on a headshot. Tremendous uptime out of this one. As for your second Arcane, you do have a bit of an option. Check out Arcane Awakening. 40% chance for plus 100% damage to pistols for 16 seconds. However, this is a non-reload effect, and even though that chance is 40%, it is a tad unreliable. However, Arcane Awakening is a lot more cheaper. I'm talking about 30-40 plat DR3, or you can simply farm it from the second Eidolon down on Cetus. And the final option will be Arcane Avenger. On damage, 14% chance for 30% critical chance for 8 seconds. Bonus additive after, so it works exactly as the scope bonus from the Arca Scisco. I don't necessarily recommend Arcane Velocity in the case of the Arca Scisco. As you saw there, the fire rate is pretty good. However, you can make this cool combo between Velocity together with Awakening, so you reload faster and you keep up the buff from Awakening a lot easier. But if you do that, you're gonna run into ammo issues. So go into Carrier and Carrier Prime. As it is now, I'm gonna be recommending Awakening with Precision, and we're gonna test the weapon out like this. We're gonna be respawning the exact same targets one more time and activate Mirage's third ability for a massive damage increase as well as the clone. So let's go shot by shot just so you can see how many strikes it takes to take out one of these high level targets. Absolutely bloody glorious. I was able to take out 4 of these guys in just, what is that, 15 shots from the Arca Scisco. But of course you also have the option of rapid fire, in which case the weapon is capable of my favorite magic trick. Now you see them, now you don't. The Arca Scisco is a tremendous weapon, one that packs one hell of a punch. It's easy to use, it doesn't take a lot out of the player to get the most out of the weapon. Head on over to your dojo, in the Energy Lab is where you will find this weapon. Interested in a Riven? Prioritize multi-shot over everything else, so it's gonna be easy for you to keep the buff up. And as you can see, it's just so bloody glorious. I love this weapon. Nothing can replace my boltos, because my boltos are capable of bolting things to walls, but of course that is entirely subjective. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you have any feedback for me or would like to request a specific weapon review, then by all means, leave it in the comment section down below. I can't realistically promise you that it will be done by next time or even within a week, but I will be reading through each and every comment. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.